Welcome to the Confidence Tea Podcast, where we brew up inspiration, self-discovery, and a sprinkle of empowerment, all over a cup of tea. Please welcome your host, Virginie Madiston. Virginie is a passionate advocate for personal growth and wellness, blending the art of tea with the journey of confidence. With a background in psychology, theology, and coaching, she believes every sip of tea can lead to a transformed mind, edified soul, and activated confidence. So get ready to steep yourself in uplifting conversations, insightful stories, and practical wisdom. Without further ado, here's your host of the Confidence Tea Podcast, Virginie Madiston.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Confidence Tea, where we get to have an amazing conversation over a cup of tea. Our mission here is to transform your mind, edify your soul, and activate your confidence. I hope you have a nice warm cup of tea as we get ready to meet one of the most amazing women. And we're going to have this conversation tonight with my dear friend, Carrie. And I'm so excited to bring her on. From the time we started talking, she captivated me with her story. She has so much information to share. She is a wonderful soul, a wonderful spirit. And I'm so excited that we get to have this conversation and you get to join me. And so if this is your first time tuning in to Confidence Tea, hi, I'm your host, Gigi. And I am the creator of Confidence Tea. So Confidence Tea is just more than just the podcast. We also have a line of luxury loose leaf teas that we offer. And so I'll be sure to add that in the chat. That way, if you guys want to check out some of our luxury loose leaf teas, you can find them right on our website. And so I'm super excited. I hope you guys are ready. Are you guys ready? Are you guys excited? This is going to be amazing, amazing. Let me know where you're tuning in from tonight. Drop it in the chat. That way we can connect with you. We want you to chime in, ask us some questions. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if you guys like these conversations. And if you would like to be a guest on Confidence Tea, by all means, send us an email. Jump into my DMs. You'll find me. I'm all over social media. And so that way we can have you share your story on Confidence Tea. I also want to take this opportunity to invite you guys to our Sip and Celebrate event. It's going to be November the 30th at the Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club. And it's going to be an amazing event. The event is to sponsor Girls Igniting Greater Inner Strength, which is the organization that I founded 8 years ago. I can't believe it, but we are celebrating 8 years of existence and 8 years of igniting confidence in this generation of young girls. And so if you would like to come out, I will also drop the information in the chat. But again, it's November the 30th at the Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club. If you can't make it, but you still want to show us your support, by all means, you can go on our website at www.gginc.org and sow a seed into what it is that we're doing in order to help girls to ignite confidence. So now that I got all the information out of the way, we're going to jump into our conversation tonight. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest before I bring her on. So just 3 years into motherhood and 6 years into her marriage, Carrie was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. Her heartfelt stories of motherhood through adversity, starting a business, discovering self-love and boundaries, and empowering other women are as authentic as they are encouraging. Carrie empowers her audience with hard-fought truths and challenges them to choose the most genuine and confident versions of themselves. Carrie began writing her first guided journal, complete with guide meditations, affirmations, prompted journal pages, and mindfulness exercises for her younger self. The other survivors she met and spoke with for years as breast cancer survivors, and for her daughters both who are now college students. Can you imagine how amazing that is? So, self love, Carrie believes, is foundational and necessary in order to continue to create healthy habits to upgrade one's life. So, tonight we're going to be talking about self love and how she got here. And so, we are ready. So, if you guys, let's give a round of applause. If you're in your house, just clap it up for my dear friend Carrie.
Thank you so much, Gigi. It's so good to be here with you.
Yes, how are you?
I am wonderful. We needed to celebrate, my whole family needed to celebrate Thanksgiving a little early this year. We've had some people that have had to have some medical issues and treatments. So we are just back from Thanksgiving.
Okay, all right, awesome.
We made it into the month of gratitude. So we celebrated with gratitude a little early this year.
And that's okay.
It's amazing, actually.
Thanksgiving is every day.
It's true. It's so easy when you go around and go around and say, oh, what are you thankful for? There's so many things. I mean, every day is something to be thankful for. So
Yes, 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 absolutely. So tonight we're talking about self-love. And I know that this is a topic that's close and dear to your heart. And I really just want to give you the floor and just, let's just get into this conversation and let it lead us wherever it may take us.
okay. Well, I guess I'll start in the very beginning. For much of my early life, I experienced a lot of self-loathing and low self-esteem, and just in that era of I'm a kid from the 70s, so I was Gen X. There wasn't a whole lot of instilling confidence or self-esteem in what I feel like is our whole generation. And I had great parents, but the parent standards back then weren't exactly like, let your child process big feelings. It's totally different than it is today. And so I grew up feeling very mediocre and not feeling like there was anything very special about me or unique. And that maybe I would find some gift someday that would be different or amazing. But right now, I was just a normal, average, everyday person. And I kind of sunk into that and believed that became the guide for everything I did. Just don't stand out. Just be normal. Just be regular.
Whatever that means, right? Whatever normal is.
Just be medium. Don't try to do too much. I was a little bit shy, and there was not any motivation for me to find my gifts or to figure out, discover anything about myself that would have helped me become who I ultimately became. So all that to say, I was 29 years old and had been married 6 years and just delivered my second daughter and was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And at that point, I realized that my life could easily be over if I did not make different decisions besides just go with the flow and stand out. And so it seemed counterintuitive, but I had to ask for help, and that was something new for me. And I had these two little girls, one that was just a little precocious 3-year-old Gracie, and then Trinity was just 5 months old. And I remember the oncologist saying, well, listen, this chemo, he said, if the cancer doesn't kill you, the chemo might.
Wow. How did that feel, hearing that with was it a 5-month-old and
5-month-old baby and a 3-year-old?
3-year-old? Like, that must have been heartbreaking, devastating, confusing, all in one.
It was so shocking that I almost had a reaction that was so not in my normal vein of just being who I was at the time, because I remember, I'm thinking now, I'm like, I would have said that now, but 19 years ago, I might not have said this, but I did. It came out of me. He said, you don't understand. I said, well, I'm going to live. I'm going to live. And he said, you don't understand. This is really aggressive. And I said, well, I'm aggressive. Because
But
here I had this baby and they kept trying to tell me, write letters to your kids. Kids under 5 years old typically won't remember a parent that dies. And I'm like, no, that's not my story.
so they were pronouncing death over you
Over me.
before. Oh wow, like just you're not gonna make it.
Right. They did not give
Wow.
me a very positive prognosis at all.
Wow.
And I remember thinking, yeah, I'm going to have to be in the fight of my life, but this is my life and it's the only one I get. So I better figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so asking for help was the big concern. And I was like, it was because I needed that to live or die. Like my choices were to either care for myself or die.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started caring for myself, but then it became deeper. It became something like, why do I want to care for myself so bad? Why do I want to live? Well, I desperately wanted to love myself. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to love my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just about being there for my kids or my husband or my family, who I love so much. My parents were everything. It wasn't just about that. It was like, and that's why my logo and my company and my mantra, even, I write it in all the books that I autograph to people. Create the life you love. Write the most beautiful story. You create
Yes.
this life and you
Yes.
get to write it. That's the best thing about having a guided journal for
Mm-hmm.
women. And like, you get to write your own story and don't let
Yeah.
anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone hold that pen for you.
Mm-hmm.
And those doctors were trying to write my story and I just disagreed.
And you got your power back. Like, good
Yes.
for you, because you could have easily accepted the prognosis that they were like, you're not, 5 years old, the kids aren't going to remember you. You could have just laid down and died right there with it and not, but because you decided to stand up and to fight. Now, how old are your kids now? Like they're in
It's
college?
so crazy. Trinity is 18 and
Okay.
she is in Fayetteville now. So she's at the University of Arkansas. And
Okay.
Gracie is 21. She's about to be 22. And
Wow.
she is in a private Nazarene university in Nashville. So I've got one in Tennessee and one in Arkansas.
Oh my
And
God, that's a long ways from them telling you that go ahead and write letters
right, that they
because
wouldn't
they're not.
remember me. And I got to
Wow.
be there for every stage of their life. And that was another thing that I feel like helped me through is when they were little, because they were so tiny, I was scheduling out chemo in chunks. And it was like, okay, this month I'll have chemo. I have, a week of chemo and then I have a week off and then a week of chemo and a week off. And so in those times, I was also putting all this on the calendar with Gracie going to Mother's Day Out and Trinity developmentally. She'll probably be talking by then, or she'll be babbling, and her
Mhm.
little milestones. And then I started to kind of reconcile those. And I was like, if I can live the next month, then I can see this milestone.
Mhm.
And so it became their milestones were my milestones. And
Mhm.
it
And it was like you
became,
setting goals for yourself along that journey as well, because
yes,
it was like it propelled you to keep moving and to keep striving. You
yes.
know, they were the reason why you were fighting so hard. I just love that for you.
It's such a cool thing now to look back and be like, I'm so thankful that they were my motivation, and me being like, no, I'm going to insert myself in their lives for good. Like, they can't get rid of me that easy. It was like, I'm going to be there and I'm going to not only be there, but I'm going to enjoy being here and I'm going to enjoy motherhood. And they can't, no one can take that from me. And so it did empower me in a lot of ways. And on Trinity's first birthday, we were both bald headed because that child had no hair. But in her pictures, I just look back and I'm like, I remember that day so well. I had zero hair. She had more hair than I did, but she didn't have much at all. And we sang happy birthday to this baby that turned a year old, and I got to be there for it. And every single event in their life, my first thought is gratitude. I could have missed this, but I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that it was this beautiful story of, I mean, even I think everything has kind of been their milestones that I've gotten a chance to be like, okay, I get to be here for this. I get to be here for this. And then, I wanted to see Gracie go to kindergarten, and I did. And then I got to see Gracie go to middle school, and then Trinity go to middle school. And pretty soon we're at high school graduations, and we're moving kids into the dorms. And it's like, this is such an extraordinary life.
Yes.
To live.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. What a wonderful just story to share with women who have dealt with breast cancer or, any type of cancer, but, women that, are still receiving, it motivates them that they can keep going. They can keep fighting, and they can win, because you're a winner in my book. You are a winner. So this is awesome. This is so good.
Well, and I tell people that all the time, because I think, especially and I know doctors don't do it a lot. They don't do it unless they just really have, all the doubt in the world that you're not going to make it, or they don't know you. They don't know that you're strong enough to make it, or that you're aggressive. They probably don't say it a lot to people, and I don't think they're supposed to say it. But in a case where it has been said, I can say, listen, that was my story too, and that's not the story I chose.
Exactly. You chose to write your own story, and women out there should know that they have the opportunity to do the same thing. 100%. They have the opportunity to rewrite their story and put a period or a comma where they see fit. And that's exactly what you did. That doctor was trying to put a period, but you were like, nope, I'm not done.
That was a comma at best.
Yes. So let's talk about this. So how did you get here? Like, how did you get to the place of, you're doing all these amazing things now, as I'm getting to know you more and following you on social media and all the amazing things you have going on. But let's talk about that. How did that didn't happen overnight, so there had to be a process that you went through that got you to that place. So tell us about that process.
Okay. Well, as I was on this journey, now I've been on a self-love journey for 20 years. And as I was on this, obviously it was a bumpy journey. It was figuring out who I was in all the ways, spiritually, physically, mentally, who I wanted to be, and reconciling that with who I was. And in those baby steps, envisioning who I wanted to be, and in every single day, making a small move toward that person that I wanted to be. And I shared that vision with my husband, that one day I would love to write full time. I would love to be a speaker. I would love to speak to thousands of women in an auditorium somewhere, and I want to empower women. And at first, in the very beginning, it was a breast cancer driven. And I love my breast cancer ladies, because I tell people all the time, it's a joke between all my ladies. Breast cancer, it makes you a little crazy. You start wearing hot pink, you start getting a little more sassy, you start talking about boobs in public, and there is things that happen to you as a breast cancer patient, or probably as any kind of patient. But you start finding your tribe, and then you start getting a little more confident, like, yeah, I'm not the only one. I've found some people. And so that's where it started. And I was offered some opportunities to be able to speak to women I go on an annual cruise with some ladies from, well, now it's over 200 ladies from all over the country. And we go on a cruise. So I've been able to speak on cruise ships and speak to breast cancer patients from all over, all stages, all stages of life. And that was thrilling. But I realized I had a message for a more broad audience. Because when I started speaking, it always came back to, let's get you to figure out why you're worthy of this. And so it became a self-love issue in the foundations of it. And I was like, that's all women. And as the girls got older and they started dealing with, periods and acne and boys and all the things that go along with middle school and high school, and I started just forming these ideas. So it definitely wasn't overnight, but I feel like this first book, this Me, Myself, and 1 Month journal, it truly was to my younger self, and it was to my girls. And that's why this one's dedicated to my girls, because we learned self-love together.
Yeah.
I had to lay that foundation for them, and they were able to follow along, but I was learning with them, you know? And it was a bumpy journey, but they're amazing kids and they're very resilient. They're doing amazing things. They've got huge hearts and a ton of empathy and compassion for other people, which I love. I'm most proud. I mean, I'm proud of my books, but I am most proud of those girls, and their lives are just I think
and
about
I'm
it.
sure I'm sure that they are super proud of you as well. I mean, I'm sure in their eyes, they're like, my mom is a superstar. Okay.
All I can say is that they like all my Instagram posts. So I guess I'm doing something right?
Exactly. This is awesome. So it started, but as you developed into this, self-love, I would almost call you a self-love advocate.
Yeah.
What is that thing that keeps driving you, like your driving force for continuing to do what you do, pouring into people, continuing to speak to women, but continuing to enlarge your platform so that you're not just a cancer survivor, like you're so many more things. You're a mother who overcame, you are, just an advocate for things that women really need. So what is it that drives you?
I think because I've never met a woman that has it all together all the time. And I'm not a woman that has it all together all the time. And I meet women all the time. Right. And so we're all just out here doing the best we can. And I think, man, I've learned a lot in my 47 years of life. And I meet women all the time that need what I have. They need my message. And whether that's breast cancer, whether that's moms, motherhood, or starting a business as a mom, or managing your time, or setting boundaries, or envisioning your future. There's all these things that I've learned that I would be remiss if I did not spend my life sharing those things with women around me, because all of us need each other's messages.
Yes.
It's not going to resonate with everyone, but it's going to resonate with someone. And that's what I want my legacy to be. Like, she really helped me.
Yeah. That's amazing. That is so awesome. And there's something to say about when you feel like you are walking in your purpose. Like you have, it might have taken you, like you said, you've been doing this self-love, that the journey has been a 20-year long journey, a process. But there's something to be said about when like, this is what I was put on this planet to do.
Yes.
And I am doing it. So how does that feel? Like, what's the feeling that you feel after you've spoken at an event, or you've done that thing, whatever that, that you do, and you're like, man, I did it,
Yes, it's definitely living into what I was put on this planet for. 100%. I always knew that I was supposed to give a message, and I always knew that there was something, I knew that inside me, but I fought as a child and as a young adult even to kind of be quiet. Like it's not, it's not time maybe, or whatever. And now I'm just like, man, I have so much to offer, and I don't know how long I have. So let's get out there, and, every day is a gift. And so, we have limited time on this earth to do what we need to do. And so if I'm fulfilling that every day, my goodness, let's go. Like, I get off stage and it's like, this is funny. I get off stage and it's like a high. I'm like, I can't wait to do that again. And
yes.
The funny, my husband, I used to teach vision board workshops. I teach a self-love and confidence mastermind, and I will also teach vision board workshops. And I used to teach those in person, and now it's more moving to an online platform. But my husband, I would call him every time I got in the car after an event, and he would say, how did it go? And if he could tell on the phone I was smiling, and then he would say how many people were crying. Because if you can connect with people, right? Like I impacted people to the point of they were touched and they were moved and they learned something and they pulled it in and are going to learn from that. And it's like, that's it. That's the connection. And that's what I want. And I can help women on any level, because we all need a little more self-love and confidence.
Absolutely. What's the I guess one piece of advice that you could say to a woman that may be struggling with self-love, that is having a difficult time figuring out how to pour that love back into their selves, because sometimes we have so much of it that we have to we're mothers and wives and daughters, and so it's sometimes we just don't have any more love left. So what's something that you can tell to that woman who is struggling with pouring that love back into their selves?
Well, and the very first thing that I address in chapter 1, this is chapter 1 of self-love, is we have to differentiate between what we believe about ourselves and what somebody told us about ourselves. And we've all believed a lie that we carried, no matter who it was from, no matter whether they meant it or not. Maybe it was in passing and we took that and internalized it and made it something. Your mom tells you when you're 6 that you can't sing or that you were off key, and you take that as, I will never sing again because I can't sing. And maybe that's not what mom meant. Maybe she did. Who knows? But we all have things that we internalize. So recognizing those lies are, I believe, foundational, and rewriting that. So I have to go, okay, what was the lie? What did I hear? Who said it? What did I hear? How can I turn that into something that is an affirming thing, not a limiting belief? Yes. And so I feel like that's foundational. We start there, and we go into affirmations, and we go into replacing those lies with truths about ourselves. And like, why am I worthy? Because I exist. Yes. I am a woman worthy of love and worthy of loving herself and worthy of working on herself and personal growth, because I was created, I'm put on this earth, and there's a reason for that. And if I can plant that seed. So basically all I'm saying is read the first 5 pages of my freaking book and then go from there. Like, if that's all you read, that's fine. I just want you to know you're loved. And I want you to know you're worthy of that personal growth. And if you don't feel love from other people, that's okay right now. Let's work on feeling love
from within.
Who you are. Yes. Yes.
And then I love that. I love that. So you dive right into it in chapter 1. I mean, ladies, if you're, you chapter 1. This is awesome. This is great stuff. So chime in and let me know in the chat if you're interested, because we can definitely get you a copy of this book, so that you can learn how to love yourself more. And you said something that was very profound to me, because you talk about exposing the lies. A lot of times we are told from, somebody that probably doesn't know how to sing themselves, right? We're told a lie. We're told, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or, whatever that thing is. And the truth is, were you ever taught? Like, did you try? Like, have you learned it? And there's so many reasons, but if we sat there and we actually, sometimes I like to write things down, because when you say it out loud, it sounds silly, and so sometimes you have to really expose a lie that is just a lie from the enemy, and you have to expose a lie and seek the truth. Yes. And so I always call it like exfoliation. I tell people sometimes when people talk, you have to wash your mind and, just like giving yourself a facial. And I say, but the second step, you have to do some exfoliation. Sometimes we might have a lot of makeup on and we miss a little bit and we got to exfoliate, once or twice a week. And sometimes that's what you have to do with the things that people say. Because if somebody was telling you since you were 5 years old that you can't sing and you want to be this Grammy Award singer, you might have to do some soul searching to remove that lie that they told you in order to really seek after the truth and to go after your dreams. Yes. So yeah, so that was very profound what you said, because I mean, you have to really take time to expose those things that are not.
And then to go along with the rest of your little analogy, because I love that. I love the thought of exfoliating. But then we need to moisturize, which means we need to affirm ourselves, put that good stuff back on. You got to get those vitamins. You got to get those nutrients. You got to get that protection.
Because after you strip, you got to add the good stuff.
Add all the good stuff. And on each of, I'm not trying to promote my book too much, I'm telling you, but on each of the daily prompted journals, there is an affirmation for you. So at the end of your daily prompts, which takes 3 or 4 minutes, not long at all, takes just a few minutes, it gently guides you into that place of loving yourself a little more every day. And then at the bottom, just memorize those few simple words. You just memorize the words and then you go to work or school or whatever. I just opened this up and this one says, my day begins and ends with self-love and appreciation.
And doing something just that simple as that on a daily basis. I tell people sometimes affirm yourself daily, but start somewhere. Yeah. Right? Start, it might be something very small, but the more you say that thing and the more you start to believe it, and before you know it, you're speaking a different language. Yes. And when you're speaking to yourself, you're speaking kinder words. It's magical how that all happens just by, putting in positive things into our minds and, trying to really gain some more positive feedback and, just speaking truth and words of life and not words of death. Sometimes we can be the meanest to ourselves.
Yeah.
We can say some real nasty things to self that we might not even say to other people, but
we would never.
Yeah.
We would never.
Yeah.
But also there is the element of self-care too. And, I check in with my girls and, they check in with me sometimes. What are you doing to take care of yourself? How are you loving yourself extraordinarily today? What are you going to do today to show some love to you? And yeah, it's important. And, it is not selfish to self-care.
Nope, it's not
necessary.
Very necessary.
When we are caring for ourselves, and even if it's an extra long shower, I mean, give yourself 5 extra minutes and do an everything shower or whatever,
do something,
paint your nails, trim your toenails. I don't care what you do something.
Yeah.
Do something for you.
Yeah. I'm big. So everybody who knows me know I have this thing, and I tell people, listen, it's not my idea. So steal it all you want. But I have this thing once a month. I have Gigi Day. It is the 22nd of every month. My birthday is December 22nd. I get ripped off. So I feel like I should celebrate every month.
I agree.
So, but I tell women, take that day. Like, yes, do so. But I have a specific coin day. Like everybody knows, my friends know, family knows, the 22nd of every month, it is Gigi Day. It is my day. If I want to eat ice cream and cake, that's what I want to do. If I want to take myself to a fancy restaurant, that's what I do. And I plan for that. I make it special. And sometimes it's not, because I know a lot of people, the first thing people say, well, it's not about financially doing something, but it's about the focus, right? When you focus on, this is my day. Sometimes I'm so tired, I just want to sleep in. And I'm like, this has been a great Gigi day because I got to sleep in and, I went to get my nails done or, whatever it makes me. Sometimes it's just like ice cream Like, I want ice cream, you know, I don't care if it's from McDonald's or wherever, you know, but I just want to take some time for me, you know, and I don't want to share my ice cream with nobody. You know, but it's doing the little things sometimes. It's
Mhm.
the little things that can make such an impact on you. And I started Gigi Day years ago, and now I think, and I tell people, don't call it Gigi Day, call it your name day. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
it would be Carrie Day, you know, but you know, I encourage women to really take time and to do something, because the way you treat yourself is how you tell the world to treat you. And
Yep.
so if you don't take time to pour that love back into yourself and to do some self-care, it's going to be very difficult for the world to give that back to you. And so I am good at telling people, okay, take care of me, because I'm always say, you know, take care of me. And so, but I encourage women to definitely do that. If you're listening, I want you to put in the chat, what is one thing you're going to do to practice self-care for the month of November?
Love
So
it.
let me know what's one thing you're going to do to practice self-care or self-love, you know, interchangeable, for the month of November. I would love to hear what you guys have. But Carrie, I want to, any last words, and I definitely want to make sure we connect. So tell us where we can get the book.
Absolutely. Well, I have a website up, carriemeraz.com. So it's just my first and last name.com, but you can also get these on Amazon. Right now, I've got 2 on Amazon. I've got Me, Myself, and 1 Month Self-Love. And then I've got Boundaries out. So once you get through the self-love, we're going to talk about boundaries with other people. So Me, Myself, and 1 Month Boundaries. The third in the series should be out, fingers crossed, in
Okay.
December. We'll see. But yeah, I tell people, you know, eventually there's going to be 12. So it's going to be a choose your own adventure. You disappear for a year, come back a completely different person.
Yeah.
You can choose the order in which you do them, but I always recommend to start with self-love.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. That's amazing. So aside from your website, where can we find you on social media?
So I am on TikTok as Carrie Meraz, author. So that is my TikTok. That's where announcements will be and lots of little engagements on there. And then I've got Facebook, Carrie Meraz author as well. So those 2, I'm trying to think of what my, I want to make sure I give you the right Instagram. I believe it's Joyful Spirituality. So I'm making sure before we'll have to make sure on that. No, it is
Okay.
under author Carrie Meraz. I did change it. So I didn't know if that change went through or not, but it's under author Carrie Meraz.
Okay, awesome. So definitely, ladies, if you are listening, this is the self-love guru right here. And she has books to help us along that self-love journey. So please pour into yourself, and you know, like, it's very important that we continue to pour into us, because we cannot fill from an empty cup. We can't go out and be the amazing women that we are called to be if we are not first pouring into ourselves. So I want to take this time, Carrie, thank you so much for coming out and just taking the time to chat with me and to really just share your story. And,
Thank you.
you
Thank you
know,
for
thank you
allowing
so
me.
much. I know a lot of women are going to definitely connect with you, and you know, even get some hope if they're in that situation like you were years ago. So I thank you for I thank you for what you did then, because it's what you did then that has propelled you to where you are now, and that's going to make such an impact on the lives of so many women.
Well,
So I
thank you.
thank you for that, and thank you for being a guest. And we have to definitely do this again, and we have to connect soon.
Sure.
You know, because you're just doing great things. You are a rock star. So
Thank you. It was an honor to be on your show. And thank you for the wonderful tea. I've been sipping on the mango tea and it is wonderful. So
see, you got a mango
yeah,
lover. So
forgot to tell you
if
about
you're
that.
watching, I'm telling you, y'all got to get you guys some confidence tea. This is the best thing since sliced bread, y'all. Y'all
Yep.
heard it here first.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Gigi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I will see you soon. We're going to get
Okay.
ready to, yeah. So all right. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of Confidence Tea. I'm your host, Gigi. I am so excited that you guys were able to join me tonight and share and hear from Carrie and her amazing testimony and how she was able to overcome. And even though the doctors told her to, write letters to her children because she was not going to live past when they were age 5, like she said no. And so this is so amazing. If you have a story to share and you would like to tell us, what you've gone through or what you've been through and, what's been happening with your confidence, we would love to hear from you. We want to talk to you. We want to chat and we want to sip on tea. And so I definitely want you guys to connect with us. And I love that. If you ever get a chance to meet me in person, I'm just as real. Like I love to connect with people and I love to conversate. And so I am definitely open to that. Give me a call, hit me in the DMs, send me an email, whatever you choose. But I want to thank you and I want to definitely leave you with a thought, knowing that confidence isn't something that you're born with. It's something that has to develop over time. So I challenge you to continue to work on yourself, continue to pour into yourself, right? You want to continue to pour that self-love into yourself so that you can have and serve others from your overflow and not from your lack. And so thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Confidence Tea, where we aim to transform your mind, edify your soul, and activate your confidence. If you haven't heard it today, I love you. Have a good night, everybody.